Good afternoon, TK. Welcome to the South China Morning Post. So you are the first Chinese national to be the CEO of CLP Group, which is a large multinational utility company. So you have assumed this position for just over a year. Can you tell us how you find the challenges and rewards compared to your expectation?
Yeah, thank you, Eric, having me today. Actually, it's really my privilege to have the opportunity to take up this position and leading, CLP, which is a, national company, electricity, utility in this region. CLP has more than 120-year history and has a very strong fundamentals. But we are really undergoing a very important energy transition, to address the climate change. And, taking up this job, to me, the biggest challenge actually is, my scope suddenly become, broadened a lot. And
Yes.
I really need to, pick up very quickly. But I would say, fortunately, because people is the greatest asset, of CLP, and I do have a great team. And I, basically, gather, a very effective team and, complementing each other and leading the company in a very effective way. The biggest challenge is to go through the energy transition, reducing carbon, retiring coal, making investment in renewable energy. And we can do this only, we cannot do this without, our people. And I do believe that I'm a strong believer in core value and how to put value to life into our daily work. And I also believe that CLP has a very strong culture. Our core value actually is care, excellence, and responsibility. And I'm sure that with these strong value, they will underpin our growth to have a sustainable future.
Yes, and I understand CLP has a very aggressive decarbonization target, halving the emissions by 2030 compared to is it around 2005, and actually maybe just over 10 years, right? Yeah, and then carbon neutrality by 2050. And so maybe this is a company-wide goal. For Hong Kong, are we close now to where we need to be, and what are the main sources of decarbonization we can still pursue?
Yeah, so maybe I give you a little bit of background of what we call the Climate Vision 2050, which governs the whole decarbonization for the whole CLP group. So actually back in 2007, CLP published our first Climate Action 2050. We are actually the first private utility company in this region publishing carbon intensity reduction targets. And our current, actually over time, we, continually review our targets. And our, the most recent target is that we commit to, net zero, emission by 2050. At the same time, we also commit to retiring coal generation, before 2040. And we also want to achieve, certain carbon intensity reduction by 2030. Now, in order to do that, firstly, we have to gradually retiring coal generation, and actually at the end, we want to basically retiring all the fossil fuel generation. At the same time, we need to invest in zero carbon, energy, in order to make sure that we can continue to provide reliable electricity supply to our customer. At the same time, satisfying the required, environmental requirements. And different region, maybe we will take a different path depending on the environment, depending on the regulatory requirements. Now in Hong Kong, I would say that we basically divide the whole roadmap into three stages. The first stage is to switch from coal to gas, which I would say basically we are almost complete. So we have commissioned 2 new CCGT units, combined cycle gas generation units, and an offshore LNG terminal in Hong Kong, so that we have sufficient gas generation facility as well as secure and safe and reliable supply of natural gas. And at the same time, we also try to promote as much renewable energy development as possible in Hong Kong. For example, we have introduced the feed-in tariff scheme in Hong Kong so that our customers can make use of their rooftop to install solar panels, and then we use a very attractive tariff to buy such electricity, and use it in our system. So and at the same time, we also try to, support government's waste-to-energy schemes, so to connect all the waste-to-energy facilities to our grid. Now, the second stage actually is, I would say, quite significant, because by 2035, according to the government climate action plan, we need to have in our fuel mix 60 to 70% zero carbon energy. So in order to do that, we need to make use of the regional cooperation, bringing in zero carbon energy consisting of nuclear and renewable energy into Hong Kong to retire our coal generation. So by 2035, we expect, with the introduction of this import from the Greater Bay Area, we will be able to retire our coal generation, and our carbon intensity will be significantly reduced. And then, the last part would be, because the remaining generation is gas generation, so we need to introduce, zero carbon fuel in order to decarbonize the remaining parts. Green hydrogen, I think, is seemingly a more promising solution at this moment. But of course, we will continue to monitor, other possible, technologies. Now, that's for Hong Kong. But in other, different regions, we may have a different, approaches. For example, in mainland China, our approach basically is to retire coal generation and then to invest, quite significantly in renewable energy, including solar and wind. In Australia, we are also undergoing this energy transition. And in Australia, our basically mainly right now is coal generation, and we have committed to closing one of the big coal-fired power station, our Yallourn power station, before or by 2028. And at the same time, we also need to make sure that we have sufficient capacity. So we are now, exploring different kind of, replacement generation, including renewable energy, battery storage, making sure that we will continue to have sufficient, capacity and energy. And in India, we are now, have a joint venture with another partner, and our business basically focusing on different types of zero carbon projects, including renewable energy, wind, solar, as well as transmission circuits, so that we can bring in, renewable energy from remote areas to load centers, as well as smart meters. Because apart from supply side, demand side is also equally important. We want to make sure that we will have the data in order to help our customer to decarbonize, to save energy.
That's very elaborate plan. So a lot needs to happen in the next 10 years and beyond. So I understand, mitigating climate change and adapting to climate change require a lot of engineers and scientists doing a lot of work. And that means your company need to find the talent, especially the younger generation talent, to continue the work. So, and I understand the Hong Kong government is now also encouraging, students, even younger ones, to take up, engineering, science, maths, and arts. So-called STEAM education. So do you find that kind of initiative to be helpful to help you bring in the next generation of talent that you need?
Yeah. Now, first of all, we fully support Hong Kong government's human capital kind of policy in order to promote STEAM education. At the same time, we also support the government's policy to import talent from outside Hong Kong. Actually, there are two challenges for us. One is we are competing talent with the other companies in Hong Kong. So recently, actually, we started recruiting from outside Hong Kong for our flagship graduate trainee program. For example, this year, out of the 30-some graduate trainees, 8 of them are coming from the mainland and 2 of them from overseas countries. At the same time, we are also developing diverse skills, because for energy transition, we not only need so-called traditional engineering talents, we also need other different types of talent, including like digital, different kinds of technology. So we are expanding our kind of recruitment sources in order to make sure that we have kind of diverse talent in order to overcome the challenges. Now, not only that we want to do it, for ourselves, but actually CLP is being a responsible utility companies in Hong Kong. We also want to contribute to the talent development for Hong Kong. So actually, since 2017, we have established CLP Power Academy, which is a kind of education institute, to help training people in Hong Kong to contribute to the industry development. So we have been providing some bridging courses so that we can attract people from outside the engineering industry to join the industry. So starting from like diploma course, professional diploma course, bachelor degree courses, and also up to even master degree courses, so that we can provide quite a complete path for talents that find it attractive and join this industry.
And you yourself is an engineer by training, and you're educated in Hong Kong in the universities, and you have spent well over 30 years with the same company. So what attracted you to engineering in the first place, and to the power industry? And what would you say to the young generation of engineers who are interested in pursuing a career in this industry?
Yeah, maybe I think this is something related to my DNA probably. My father is an electrician. So basically, I from time to time, I hear, some different things about electricity. And actually myself find it, quite fascinating, because you cannot really see electricity, but it exists and it's also very powerful. But sometimes it's a bit dangerous if you accidentally touch it. So that's why when I was really young, I have different opportunity to say visiting my father at work, and have some experience. And then I had a lot of questions about electricity. And at that time, maybe my father was not able to answer all the questions. So that's why, when I entered university, I want to find out all the answers, and I picked, power engineering in, electrical and electronic engineering. And I actually find it very fulfilling, because I really want to, maybe my character is that I really want to do something with my hands. So being an engineer, I think is very fulfilling. Now, for the younger generation, I think being passionate is important. Do something that you really like, and then keep on learning. Continuous learning is one of my mottos. And but nowadays, because of the technology development is so fast, I think learning is not sufficient. So we have to unlearn something that is already outdated. And at the same time, we may also need to relearn, because either we try to find new ways of doing things, or we try to combine different kinds of technologies into one single solution that you may find it which is new to you through this so-called relearning experience.
Great. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom. Thank you, TK.
Thank you, Eric.